हेलो एवरीवन, कैसे हो आप लोग। माई सेल्फ चेतन गर्ग, आई एम मास्टर टीचर here at Vedantu. I welcome you all to our RMO flashback series. In today's lecture, we will be discussing last two questions of year 1996. Both of these questions were very easy, and in fact, you can see we'll be able to solve these questions in 5 or 10 minutes, right? And both of these questions are from basic mathematics. You can categorize them to number theory also, but yes, they are more or less based on basic maths only, right? So before starting the session, I'll give you one information that currently here at Vedantu, we are running pre-RMO, RMO and INMO batches. Those people who have not appeared for pre-RMO or have not cleared pre-RMO yet, they should simply visit our website olympiad.vedantu.com. Here we have provided each and every information regarding the pre-RMO exam. And those who have already cleared pre-RMO or RMO exam, they should simply mail me these details. They should mail me their name, class, contact number, proof, and address on this email ID chetan.garg@vedantu.com. Those who have cleared pre-RMO exam, we will simply enroll you to RMO batch, and those who have already cleared RMO, we will simply enroll you to INMO batch. Right? All these courses are completely free of cost. You do not need to pay even a single rupee to enroll in these batches, because the ultimate aim is to bring gold for India, and for that we have kept these batches to be free. Right? So let's start our session. This is question number 6 from year 1996. And in fact, if you have not solved this question, I'll suggest you just take 5 to 10 minutes. I'm sure that you'll definitely be able to solve this question by your own. Still, if you couldn't solve this question, you can always watch the replay of this video, right? So I'll start with the solution. The question says that given any positive integer n, we need to prove that there are two positive rational numbers, right? A and B, in which A is not equal to B, and in fact which are not integers, because they are okay, if they are rational numbers and are not integers, such that A minus B, A square minus B square, A cube minus B cube, and An minus Bn, they are all integers for any given positive integer n, right? So we need to prove that A and B rational है, ठीक है, A and B are rational numbers and they are not integers, ठीक है. So they can be written in the form of P by Q, where P and Q must be co-prime, right? And all these things are simply integers, all right. So let's assume A to be something, let's P plus Q upon R, right? Where we can assume that Q and R are co-prime integers, and P can be any integer, right? So as you can say, this A will be nothing but A will definitely be a rational number, right? Now A minus B, we need A minus B to be an integer, right? So it gives us an indication that this B we can assume that to be Q by R, right? And since A and B should be distinct, because A should not be equal to B, so we can say that our P, that should not be equal to 0, because if P is 0, then we will simply say that A and B both will not be equal, right? Now since in this expression, which we need to prove that A minus B, A square minus B square, A cube minus B cube, and A power n minus B power n, they should be all integers. This expression gives us a little bit hint of using binomial theorem, especially the last one, A power n minus B power n, right? So if you consider A power n, that is P plus Q upon R power n, right? Minus obviously B power n is nothing but Q upon R power n, right? And let us consider A power n minus B power n. As if you do the binomial expansion of this P plus Q upon R power n, you will simply notice that Q power n upon n, that will cancel out upon Q upon R power n, right? So what we are left with, we will be left with P upon n plus, let's say, NC1 Q upon R, right, plus NC2 Q upon R square, and here it will be P power n minus 1, right? P power n minus 2 plus, and so on, right? Last term will be NCn minus 1, second last term, right? Last term will be cancelled out with Q by R power n, right? So that will be nothing but Q upon R raised to power n minus 1 into P, right? Now if you see, if all these things will be integer, if R power n minus 1, that will be divisible by P, right? So if I assume P to be a factor of R power n, let's say, okay. So all these terms, this r will get cancelled out with this will r square will cancelled out obviously with p power n minus 2, and in fact r power n minus 1, this will be cancelled out with p, right? So what we got, we will get this thing to be an integer. I hope this is clear, right? And in fact in the expansion of all these things, they will simply be integer because a power n minus b power n is coming to be an integer, right? Right. So for example, let's assume a to be equals to let's take 2 power n plus half, right? If this thing is right, if let's take a to be this and b to be, let's say, half. A minus b, that will be clearly an integer. What is a square minus b? Okay, let's take a general term, a power n minus b power n, है ना? And clearly n here can be anything, 1 2 3 4 maximum up to n, right? So a power n minus b power n, but it will be 2 power n plus half whole power n, right? Minus half power n, right? So what will be the last term of this expansion? Half power n, that will obviously cancel out with this term. What will be the second last term? Second last term will simply be, okay, I'll write with some different color. Let's take blue this time. Okay, so the second last term will be ncn minus 1, right, into 2 power n whole power what 1, okay, into half power n minus 1. As you can say, this is clearly cancelling out by this, leaving 2 as the quotient, and nc n minus 1, we know that this is clearly an integer. And since last term is also second last term is integer, the terms before these will also be integer, because obviously it will have a lesser power of 2 and higher power of 2 power n, right? So finally what we will get all these terms as an integer, right? So we can always have such numbers a and b which are not integers. Clearly a and b here are not integers, and but these all terms will be integers, right? So that was more or less a basic question, right? Let's do the next question of year 1996. Again, I will say this is again a basic question, right? The question says that A is a 50 element subset of first 100 natural numbers, right? And we need such that no two natural numbers from A add up to 100. Okay, so basically we have selected 50 natural numbers from here, right? And any two of them is not adding up to 100. We need to prove that this A contains a square, that is A has an element which is a perfect square. All right, so A is basically a set which contains 50 elements, right? And every element has just like one will have, if 1 is added to 99, right, so it will simply be 100, right? Similarly 2 and 98, they adds up to 100, right? 3 and 97, they adds up to 100, right? Till 49 to 51, they adds up to 100, right? So these are 49 pairs. Rest two elements are 50 and 100 themselves, right? Right. So if we take 1, we cannot take 99. If we take 2, we cannot take 98, and so on, right? And clearly we cannot take 50 and 100 both, because 100 will be a perfect square then, right? So we need to search some pair which have two numbers which are also perfect squares and which also adds up to 100. Like for example 36 and 64, right? These are two numbers, they add up to 100, right? And both are perfect squares, right? So from all these pairs we can have a maximum of how many elements? Let's say exclude this thing, so we will have 48 pairs. So from 48 pairs we can have maximum of 48 elements, right? One element we can add 50 because 100 will be perfect square. Still we need one more element to make the total number of elements in set A to be 50, right? And the last element that should come from this pair. So either we can put 36 or we can put 64. In both scenarios we will get a perfect square, right? So I hope this question is clear. Basically, what we have done, we have made 49 pairs till here, okay, such that each pair will add up to 100, right? Clearly we need we cannot take any two numbers which will add 200, right? So we can have a maximum of one element from all these pairs, right? And let's exclude this pair from this list. So we can have a maximum of 48 distinct elements which may not have a square, right? And from 50 and 100 we cannot add up 100 because this is a perfect square. So let's add 50. So we get 49 elements, but we need to make a set of 50 elements. So we need to add one element from either from 36 or from 64. And clearly both of these elements are perfect square. So finally we will definitely have a perfect square, right? So that, as you can say, this question just requires a logic to find out two such perfect squares which add up to 100. And these are easy because we know the Pythagorean triplet, and this is very common triplet, that will be equal to 10 square, right? So that's it from today's session, guys. Today we have discussed last two questions of year 1996, and in the next session we will be discussing next few questions of year 1997, right? And before ending the session, I'll again announce one information, that the students who have already cleared pre-RMO or RMO, they should simply mail me their details, their name, class, contact number, address and proof on this email ID, chetan.garg@vedantu.com. We will simply enroll you to the respective RMO and INMO batch, right? And all these batches will be free of cost, right? You do not need to pay even a single rupee to enroll in these batches. Just you need to mail me this information so that we can enroll you in the respective batches, right? So see you in the next session. Till then, goodbye and take a very good care of yourself. Thank you.